Este dificil să cuprindem în doar câteva cuvinte legătura puternică dintre Italia și România, pentru că vorbim despre foarte multă istorie și un prezent plin. Crima organizată continuă să facă probleme în Italia, dar și în România, unde corupția le permite mafioților să-și dezvolte rețelele. Este o luptă constantă pe care o duc la comun italienii și românii ca să controleze fenomenul. Cerul este limita, la propriu, în domeniul apărării, pentru că italienii sunt printre cei care apără spațiul aerian al flancului estic de pe baza Mihail Kogălniceanu. Alfredo Durante, ambasadorul Italiei la București, este invitatul meu de astăzi. Sunt Cristina Cileacu. Începe Pașaport Diplomatic. Alfredo Durante, Ambassador of Italy in Bucharest, welcome to Diplomatic Passport.
Thank you for the invitation.
Ambassador, the link between our countries is historical, but still is under negotiation, a partnership, a strategic partnership that basically will forge the relationship. What is needed right now between our countries?
I think that we can build upon a very strong cultural, historical and linguistic ties, and the bilateral relations still present an important margin potential for further growth. We established a strategic partnership back 25 years ago. We celebrated a few weeks ago this recurrence, but we now have to adapt our bilateral partnership to the new global challenges and to explore new ways of contributing to the solution of global issues, especially in the European framework. So the next declaration that the two foreign ministries are currently negotiating will also highlight the potential for cooperation in the field of the fight against climate change, the double transition, the ecological and the digital transition, because the two countries can play a very relevant role in the enhancement of the European integration. We should be well aware of the challenges in the field of energy, in the field of defense common policy. That's why the joint declaration will try to reflect also and encompass these new issues.
And this will be soon, this year, or is a deadline for that?
There is no deadline, but we are negotiating now for since a few months, and we hope that before the end, well before the end of this year, the two foreign ministers shall gather, accompanied by other members of the two governments, and seal this joint declaration on the strategic partnership.
The link that our country has a darker side, let's call it like this, because of course Italy unfortunately has a lot of bad experiences with mafia. In the same time, Italian mafia is present as well in Romania, and a lot of professionals that fought against mafia were killed during the years. How is this relationship between our countries when it comes to working against this phenomenon?
First of all, we had the opportunity to commemorate two Italian magistrates killed by mafia, Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino, since there is a remembrance of these two judges in the Kiselyev Park in Bucharest. 10 years after the time when this plate was laid down, we had a ceremony with the Interior Minister and with the Justice Minister in order to stress the importance of fighting against organized crime in line with the lesson and the experience of Giovanni Falcone. Follow the money. Having specialized investigative techniques and teams that share information, that seize assets of criminal groups, and that promote international cooperation. 30 years after the sacrifice of Giovanni Falcone, this is an important lesson that many United Nations countries have learned. And regarding the bilateral relations, we have a very fruitful cooperation between the respective agencies, the National Anti-Corruption Directorate and DICOT with the Special Anti-Mafia Prosecution Office in Italy. Now the fight against organized crime requires also taking into account the links between corruption and organized crime, because now criminal groups do not use violence or intimidation, but they adopt corrupt methods to infiltrate public administration and public procurement and use money laundering to infiltrate legal economy. That's why we have to take into account these links and counter any form of corruption exploited by criminal groups.
And since you have this background, jurisdictional background, would you say that the results are good enough, or how would you describe it from your personal experience, these matters?
I would say resources are never enough to combat this phenomena. What is important is the exchange of information, interoperability of databases, and especially the asset freezing and seizing of assets controlled by the organized crime. This is very important to try also to preserve the economy from the infiltration and to protect the rights of the more fragile parts of the society.
And if we can compare what's happening in our time when it comes to organized crime in both Italy and Romania, when it comes to what mafia does with Romania, let's say 10, 20 years ago, would you say that these activities increased or rather not?
The uniform implementation of European Union legal framework may help prosecutors and judges and police officials to counter organized crime interests and activity. Of course, in the two countries there may be different sectors where these groups are most active. We have been told that in Romania, for example, the illegal deforestation or some aspects of the construction market may be infiltrated by criminal groups. I think the same is in Italy regarding, for example, the construction of infrastructures and of public works.
In Romania today, and not only Romania, but since we are bordering Ukraine, crisis seems to be the word that defines everyday life. And this war forced all of us, especially European countries, to have a reaction and to try to, I don't know, secure ourselves first, but also to try to respond to Russia. How was Italy reacted so far to what's happening in Ukraine?
Well, first of all, on the political level, we have strongly condemned within the European Union the illegal, unprovoked aggression of Russia to Ukraine, and we have continuously supported the adoption of sanctions against the Russian Federation. Then we have strengthened our participation in the enhanced air policing mission on the Black Sea from the base of Constanza with assets deployed by the Italian Air Force, 200 men and 8 fighters. Then there also has been an important response in terms of humanitarian aid. The Italian Civil Protection has been the first to respond to a call by Romania and some humanitarian aid has been channeled through the logistic hub in Suceava.
Since you mentioned European Union, there are also a lot of changes for our both countries and for the rest of the members at the level of European Union. But in the case of Romania, we are, let's say, still lagging behind the west of Europe, and it's only the fault of our politicians. What is your perspective when it comes to Romania and its opportunities in European Union and also its challenges as well?
I think that Romania is playing an increasingly relevant role within the European Union, especially after Brexit, and this is something on which everybody can agree, can concur, and this gives us an important also leverage to enhance our bilateral partnership. I think that Romania is proving very well in almost all policy areas. If I take the management of external border, Romania has already showed that it is de facto a Schengen country. We have been always supportive of the request of Romania to access Schengen. In terms of energy, you have a very good energy mix. Of course, we can have different opinions about the qualification of transition source for nuclear energy, for gas. We have made different choices in the past, but we, of course, respect the choices of the Romanian parliament and people. I think that the potential, the economic potential of Romania also as a hub for European industry, for the manufacturing industry, for the development of technology, as well as for the services is really very, very high. There should be the way to better exploit also the asset of diaspora, because several millions of Romanian citizens live and work abroad.
Especially in Italy.
In Italy, of course. Yeah. Now we have almost 1,100,000 Romanians, very well integrated, contributing to the growth of the Italian economy, and they show us how integrated are our two countries and also how integrated are the value chains between our two economic systems.
And because I said you are already 1 year since you started your mission in Romania, how was it this first year?
Was great, was really great. I'm enjoying very much my mission here, which is very diverse, articulated. I have here the opportunity to work in different areas, political dialogue, political contacts, economic cooperation, support to Italian companies, cultural activities and initiatives. We would like to offer more contemporary image of Italy and also to work on the...
I have to ask, what is contemporary image of Italy?
The classical, well, the time of Dante Alighieri, of the Renaissance, but also as far as the cinema is concerned, or the music, we have now new, probably more vibrant also expressions of Italian lifestyle, vibrant expressions of the fashion, the design, also the literature. I think we should make an effort also to discover, to help the Romanian public to discover new authors, new forms of fashion, design, music, cinema. There is a lot to discover.
So shall we say that Italy, at 76 years old, since yesterday it was your National Day,
yes, is
becoming younger?
I hope will be always young in the soul, in the spirit. 76 years after the adoption of our Constitution, the Constitution is proving to be a very lively document which can help the Italian people to keep unity, cohesion, solidarity, and the values enshrined in our Constitution: human rights, freedom, social justice, solidarity, still prove to be very, very active and live today.
Ambassador Durante, thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you so much.
Atât pentru astăzi, dar rămânem în continuare online pe pagina de Facebook a emisiunii și pe contul nostru de Twitter. Revenim cu subiecte noi din lumea diplomației și a politicii externe, vinerea viitoare de la 11:30 și în reluare sâmbătă după miezul nopții. La revedere!